Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Sunday morning. With us is Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis. Well, the only Republican congressperson in the 5 boroughs of New York City. And, well, we hope, I'm glad you won that Supreme Court hearing, Nicole. And what's ahead of us?
Well, John, look, it's always one battle after another here in the city of New York right now. My constituents, Staten Island, Brooklyn, and people across the city are all up in arms about the new mayor placing homeless shelters all across the city without really any type of community input or involvement or transparency. And it raises a big red flag, John, because I think you saw, as so many others did, how there was a federal indictment unveiled last week where either elected officials or relatives of elected officials and politically connected people were indicted for a pay-to-play scheme as it relates to these shelters. So what's happening is these property owners are claiming they're going to build hotels in communities, by the way, like that don't need a hotel. There's no tourism there. And then they do a bait and switch and enter into a contract with the city of New York for a very high amount of money. Now, in some cases, when you break down these contracts, it could be around $10,000 a month per unit. In fact, on Staten Island this weekend, massive protests, Midland Beach, by residents who are up in arms over a contract that, when you break it down, it's about $9,600 a month per unit, which is more than twice what a person on Staten Island pays monthly on their mortgage. So it's ludicrous, John, and these things need to be investigated, and I'm working diligently to put together the documents to urge Department of Justice to investigate them.
I don't understand, Nicole. We both grew up in our city here. How did we get that such a mess where in almost every city or every state that people are just having loose ends? Well,
look, at the end of the day, elections have consequences, John, and when you vote for a socialist, this is the type of policy you're going to get. But the worst part is it's not only a real scam that's ripping off the taxpayers. They're fleecing the taxpayers. But in addition to that, they're not even helping the homeless. They are warehousing the homeless. They have stopped so many of those programs, whether it be like workforce training, welfare to work programs, to help people transition out of the shelter system and become self-sustainable, but in the mental health, the substance abuse, they're not getting the treatment that they deserve. They've made these programs revolving doors, John. And so when you open up a shelter, for example, in the middle of the South Shore on Staten Island, where there is not adequate transportation, this is why everyone on Staten Island drives, and you don't have those underlying services for substance abuse or mental health, that creates a problem. And you have 150 single men where we don't even know where they're from, because we know that they're emptying out the jails in Rikers. Are these people with criminal history? We have no idea, because the city's not being transparent. But what I could tell you, John, because I did a Freedom of Information law request, when I did a FOIL request on the migrant shelters, and it took me 2 years almost to get this data because they were stonewalling me, I found that 16,000 crimes were committed by the thousands of individuals that were residing in these shelters at taxpayer expense. And they were here illegally on top of it. And so that's why I worked so hard with President Trump to secure the border, to close these shelters, and deport these criminals, the gangs that were wreaking havoc on the streets of our city. But look, if they're going to empty up Rikers and stick people in shelters, we're going to have problems in communities all across the city.
Well, it's just crazy what's going on. Congresswoman Malliotakis, what do you see in front of us? It looks like the war is going to be over. It looks like we're going to have the terrorists of the world are going to be gone. What do you look forward to accomplishing next?
I think the work that President Trump and his administration are doing right now is going to make America safer as well as the world. And the developments over the last couple of days, hearing that Iran is opening up the Strait of Hormuz, hearing that they're going to turn over the enriched uranium, hearing that there's, hopefully a ceasefire can stick between Israel and Lebanon. These are important components. Also, the mines that Iran was placing at the bottom of the strait that were very dangerous for these ships to pass through, that they are removing them. These are all great developments. Obviously, these are reported developments. The president's talked about it. We still need some clarity and some confirmation. But if all this truly is happening, I think that we're weeks away, if not less, from this conflict ending, and the world will be a safer place. You're cutting off the funding for terrorist organizations, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis. You've rid the world of the Ayatollah who was directing all of this and not just killing Americans and attacking our military bases, threatened to assassinate our president and wreak havoc and terrorism in our own land. But we're killing their own people in Iran. So I think the world will be a safer place if we can make more of these agreements and then add more countries into the Abraham Accords and build on that success of President Trump's first administration.
Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, thank you for everything you do for our city, our country, and let's catch up again real soon.
Great to be with you, John. Thank you.